Think about the person in your life right now who is draining your absolute last drop of energy. The partner who constantly self-sabotages and blames the world for their misery. The friend who always has a catastrophic crisis but never takes your advice. The family member who uses their past trauma as an endless excuse to treat you like garbage. You stay. You listen. You pay the bills. You apologize for their mistakes. You clean up the massive, smoking wreckage they leave behind. You tell yourself a beautiful, noble lie. You say, "They have had a hard life. They are just hurting. If I just love them enough, if I am just patient enough, I can fix them. I can heal their wounds." Let me give you the most brutal, terrifying truth you will hear today. You are not their healer. You are not their savior. You are not the magical antidote to their poison. You are their next meal. You are a free 24-hour rehabilitation center where a parasite comes to feed until there is absolutely nothing left but your bones. This is core wisdom. If you are tired of setting yourself on fire just to keep broken people warm, if you are ready to pull up the drawbridge and build the fortress of a sovereign mind, you are in the right place. Subscribe. We build the fortress together. Let us dissect the savior trap. Let us look deep into the dark psychology of why you actively choose to chain yourself to broken, chaotic, and deeply toxic people. Society tells you this makes you a good person. You wear your exhaustion like a badge of honor. You look at your depleted bank account, your massive anxiety, and your ruined sleep schedule, and you think your willingness to endure their abuse is proof of your massive empathy. You think you are a martyr. It is not empathy. It is ego. In the realm of psychology and shadow work, this is called codependency, or the white knight syndrome. But let us strip away the clinical terms and call it what it really is in the brutal light of day. Covert arrogance. You do not want an equal. An equal is terrifying to you. A healthy, fully functional, emotionally stable partner does not desperately need you to survive. They choose you. And if they can choose you, they can also choose to leave you the moment you stop bringing value to their life. That level of independence, that level of mutual accountability, absolutely terrifies your insecure mind. So, your shadow self looks for a wounded animal. You look for someone who is drowning, someone who is financially unstable, emotionally volatile, deeply insecure, or completely lost in their own unhealed trauma. Why? Because when you stand next to a broken person, you get to feel like a god. Their profound weakness manufactures a fake sense of strength in you. Their endless chaos makes your life feel organized. Their inability to function makes you feel completely indispensable. You do not love them. You love the power dynamic. You love the intoxicating feeling of being desperately needed. You have built your entire identity and your entire sense of self-worth around being the fixer. You think you are sacrificing your life for them, but in reality, you are using their tragedy to medicate your own deep-seated feelings of worthlessness. You subconsciously believe that if you fix them, if you save them from their own demons, then finally, you will have proven to the universe that you are valuable. You are buying your self-worth with their dysfunction. But this is a transaction made in hell. Look at the reality of what actually happens when you try to fix a broken adult. You pour your time, your money, your emotional bandwidth, and your very sanity into a bottomless pit of need. You give them the exact blueprint to a better life. You offer them logical solutions. You map out the escape route from their misery. And what do? They reject the solutions. They ignore the map. They create a brand new crisis out of thin air. They violently self-sabotage the exact moment things actually start getting better. You stand there, completely baffled, asking yourself why they are doing this. Because they do not want to be fixed. They do not want to be healed. Healing requires accountability. Healing requires massive, painful, agonizing personal responsibility. It requires them to look in the mirror and admit that they are the architects of their own suffering. Why would they ever take responsibility for their own miserable life when you are so willing to do it for them? You are not helping them grow. You are actively enabling their decay. You are the comfortable, warm pillow they use to sleep through their own destruction. They have learned a very dark, very effective lesson. Their pain is a currency. Their trauma is a weapon. And as long as they stay sick, as long as they stay helpless and broken, you will keep paying the invoice. You will keep giving them attention, resources, and forgiveness that they have absolutely not earned. You think your love is a magic spell that will cure their deeply ingrained psychological damage. Think about the absolute height of narcissism required to believe that. Do you really believe that your hugs, your patience, and your bank account can magically undo 20 years of severe childhood trauma, clinical personality disorders, or a fundamental, hardwired lack of moral character? You are bringing a Band-Aid to a nuclear explosion. You are playing the role of a clinical psychiatrist without the qualifications, without the professional boundaries, and without the ability to clock out and go home at the end of the day. You are sleeping in the psychiatric ward with the patient, and you are wondering why you are starting to lose your own mind. And as you slowly lose your mind, as the heavy gravity of their dysfunction pulls you deeper into the mud, you start to notice something terrifying. The sickness is contagious. The sickness is contagious. You cannot stand in the middle of a toxic waste dump every single day and expect to keep your clothes clean. When you attach yourself to a person who is constantly vibrating at the frequency of chaos, anxiety, and anger, your nervous system is forced to absorb that energy. You start walking on eggshells. You start anticipating their next breakdown. You start sacrificing your own goals, your own peace, and your own sleep just to keep them stabilized. You are bleeding out, and the most tragic part is, they are not even getting better. They are just using your blood to keep their dysfunction alive for one more day. This brings us to the fundamental law of power dynamics, the drowning man principle. If you see a man drowning in a violent, stormy sea, your first instinct as a compassionate human being is to jump in and save him. But any trained lifeguard will tell you that jumping in without a flotation device is suicide. Why? Because a drowning man is not thinking logically. He is driven by pure, blind, animalistic panic. When you get close to him, he will not thank you. He will not cooperate with you. He will climb on top of your head and push you underwater just so he can take one more breath. He will drown you to save himself, and he will not even feel guilty about it, because in his mind, it was a matter of survival. This is exactly what is happening in your toxic relationships. You jumped into the stormy water of their life, thinking your love was a life raft. But they are drowning in their own poor choices, their own refusal to heal, their own victim mentality. And instead of letting you pull them to shore, they are climbing on your shoulders. They are using your money to fund their bad habits. They are using your patience to avoid taking responsibility. They are using your emotional support to avoid facing the dark, terrifying reality of their own reflection. And you are sinking. You can feel the water rising. You are exhausted. You are resentful. You are losing your identity. But you refuse to let go because your ego whispers, "If I let go, I am a bad person. If I let go, they will sink, and it will be my fault." Listen to me very carefully. It is not your fault. You did not push them into the water. You did not create the storm. and you absolutely cannot control whether they choose to swim or sink. Their life is their responsibility. Your life is yours. And by refusing to let them face the consequences of their own actions, you are actually stealing their only chance at true transformation. People do not change when they are comfortable. They change when the pain of staying the same finally becomes greater than the pain of transformation. When you constantly rescue them, you remove the pain. You rob them of their rock bottom. You are not a savior. You are an enabler. You are the cushion that softens their fall, ensuring that they never hit the ground hard enough to wake up. If you truly want them to heal, if you actually care about their long-term survival, you must do the most painful, counterintuitive thing possible. You must let them fall. This brings us to the cure. The only viable strategy for a sovereign mind trapped in a codependent nightmare. The cure is not more love. The cure is not a longer conversation. The cure is not another compromise. The cure is amputation. When a limb is infected with gangrene, a surgeon does not wrap it in a warm bandage and kiss it better. The surgeon takes a saw and cuts it off. It is violent. It is agonizing. It leaves a permanent scar. But it is the only way to save the rest of the body from dying. You have toxic, gangrenous relationships in your life right now. They are spreading poison into your mind, your career, and your future. You must amputate. You have to accept the horrifying reality that love is not enough. You can love someone with every fiber of your being, and they can still be absolute poison to your life. You can love someone and still recognize that keeping them in your inner circle is an act of self-destruction. Cutting them off does not mean you hate them. It means you finally respect yourself enough to prioritize your own survival. It means you are finally stepping out of the savior trap and stepping on to the throne. But be prepared. When you finally pull the knife and sever the tie, they will not let you go quietly. They will rage. They will cry. They will play the victim harder than they ever have before. They will accuse you of abandoning them. They will tell everyone who will listen that you are a cold, heartless, selfish monster. Let them. Let them scream at the walls of your fortress. Let them call you a villain. A sovereign does not negotiate with parasites, and a king does not explain his boundaries to the people he just exiled. When the gates finally close, and the noise of their chaos is locked outside, you're going to experience something entirely new. Absolute, deafening silence. And in that silence, the final, most dangerous trap of the Savior will spring. The trap of your own guilt. Your ego will scream at you. It will tell you that you are cold, that you are abandoning someone who desperately needs you. You will feel an intense, almost physical withdrawal symptom. Because without their endless drama to solve, without their daily fires to put out, you are suddenly forced to look at your own life. You are forced to face the empty, quiet spaces in your own soul that you were trying to fill with their tragedy. Do not break. Do not reach out. Do not send the text message checking in on them. Checking in is not compassion. It is a codependent addict looking for a hit. Let them face the cold, hard, uncompromising consequences of their own reality. Let us look at the ultimate metaphor of the sovereign mind when dealing with the broken and the chaotic. You must understand the difference between the lifeboat and the lighthouse. For years, you have been a flimsy wooden lifeboat. You saw someone thrashing in the storm, and you rowed out into the freezing, violent water. You tried to pull them in, but the waves were too high, and the drowning man was too heavy, too frantic, and too completely obsessed with his own panic. He capsized your boat. And suddenly, instead of one casualty, there are two. A sovereign is not a lifeboat. A sovereign is a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the ocean trying to rescue sinking ships. A lighthouse does not compromise its foundation. It does not jump into the freezing water to prove how much it cares. It stands on the edge of the jagged rocks, deeply rooted in the stone, built to withstand the most violent hurricanes the world can throw at it, and it shines a blinding, uncompromising light into the darkness. It provides the direction. It provides the truth. But it is entirely up to the captain of the sinking ship to turn the wheel. If the ship ignores the light, if it decides to sail blindly into the storm, if it crashes into the rocks and splinters into 1,000 pieces, the lighthouse does not weep. The lighthouse does not dive into the wreckage. The lighthouse simply remains standing, and it keeps shining the light. You must become the lighthouse. Your primary overriding duty in this universe is not to fix broken people. Your duty is to build yourself into an unshakable fortress. Your duty is to become so strong, so stable, so fiercely independent that your very existence becomes a light for those who are genuinely ready to find their way out of the dark. The people who actually want to heal will see your strength, and they will swim toward it. They will ask for advice, and then they will actually execute it. They will do the brutal work. They will climb the rocks themselves. But the parasites? The emotional vampires? The ones who just want a free ride on your energy? They will hate the light, because the light exposes their refusal to take responsibility. They will curse the lighthouse as they sink. Let them sink. You cannot save a man who is passionately in love with his own destruction. You cannot heal a person who uses their sickness as a weapon to control you. You can only save yourself. It is time to formally resign from your self-appointed position as the savior of the universe. The pay is terrible, the hours are endless, the patients are entirely ungrateful, and the only retirement plan is an early grave. Look at the people in your inner circle right now. Look at the perpetual victims. Look at the relationships that leave you feeling completely empty, drained, and fundamentally disrespected. Identify the rotting limbs. And tonight, pick up the saw. Reclaim your time. Reclaim your finances. Reclaim the heavy, beautiful weight of your own mental clarity. When you stop pouring your life force into a bottomless pit, a miraculous psychological shift occurs. That massive amount of energy finally returns to you. You suddenly have the bandwidth to build your own empire. You have the focus to elevate your own reality. You have the emotional stability to attract a partner who actually matches your strength instead of someone who drains it. You stop surviving their chaos, and you start conquering your own world. So, step off the lifeboat. Pull up the drawbridge. Lock the iron gates. Fire the warning shots. If they want to drown, they will have to do it without you. This is core wisdom. If you are ready to drop the savior complex and walk the path of the sovereign, subscribe. Leave the herd behind.